I'll cut it and we just don't post the video. I just post the audio. And then whatever I cut, I just literally like that is like not rocket science. You literally can just go in and like cut the audio and then just smash them together and just send it. Like that's easy to fix. But yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself and then we can get started.
Hey, what's up? My name's Jeremy Chien. I'm part of Beast of the Bay over here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Avid sorcery and old school Magic player.
Yeah, I think this honestly just might be a sorcery podcast, at least in part now, because I'm not. I mean, I'm sure they're nice guys. I'm just not impressed by the frequency at which I'm getting some new sorcery content.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need more. And then, so sorcery. I'm not going to explain rules. I'm not going to like any of that stuff. I just want to talk about Gen Con, and then I want to talk about what you think that like these events, like how close do you think it is to like original Magic with regards to like brewing and like solvability. Yeah, so we can just work with that. But Gen Con, Druid decks, Archimago decks. I don't even know how to say that word. I don't even think I care. Are those like the two big builds, and it's just like pick two colors and go?
They are, right? And I think, from what we've seen, and we're actually really lucky in the Beast because we have Moth, otherwise known as Naveed. And Moth is very well known in the sorcery community. He's a big brewer of decks. He's a great player, theorist, strategist, everything about sorcery he can do, right? And so we get a lot of time to spend with him and chat with him about it and all of his online playing, all of his local playing. He's a part of our planning team for our events and whatnot. I think right now it does boil down to Druid and Archimago. Okay. Now, I think the consensus based on the last league, and I think Moth tried to prove this with a couple of his other buddies, right? They said, let's just show people how broken Archimago is. They will play the most broken brew of that deck. And I think they had something like a, turn one, 90% win rate or something, right? And an overall 70% win rate. So something, if you saw in the realm of Magic or other TCGs, would absolutely be we must ban or take some measures to stop this, type of win rate. Okay. Now, that being said, across the events that people have been running, Archimago actually hasn't been dominating all of the events. And when you deep dive it a little bit more, Archimago is a little bit like the deck in old school Magic, right? And so for the listeners, you guys know the deck is basically the best, formulaic set of cards for old school. And so when you play Archimago, just like when you play the deck, you can slam that 75 cards together. But the pilot then becomes the big difference, right? And so Archimago has a lot of different play lines. You have to know the meta. You have to know, okay, I'm playing against this Druid, or I'm playing against, this Avatar of Air. Like, I know exactly what's in their deck. So when I go to common sense a spell, like, I know exactly what I'm going to get because I can counter what they're going to do next. That's all this knowledge that you can't all of a sudden absorb just because you have the best set of 50-30, right?
Okay.
And so as a result, I think the latest tournaments and actual cornerstones and other events have been showing Druid on the top because Archie, you pretty much have to play it, I wouldn't say near perfectly, right? But you have to have all that understanding to make it work.
Okay. I'm glad I'm building Druid then. Like I've like looked at the Gen Con like quote unquote winning list, but like I was like building a Druid deck before that based on some cards I got from you guys like a year ago. So I'm pretty excited that I like kind of fell into a winner. Do you think it's possible? So I think most decks are two colors, maybe splash a third.
Yeah.
Do you think that's where it's at with 50-30? Or do you think that you can really go true three?
No, I don't think tricolor is supportable on a consistent basis right now besides splashing. And mostly it's going to be because there's enough, the games are short enough with this kind of aggro meta that, like, if you end up with the wrong threshold or you end up with somebody being able to cut you off one of those thresholds with like a Castles Ablaze or
Yeah.
something that messes up your land destruction, destroys your land a little bit, then that's game over, right? And so consistency sake wise, I don't think the 3-color is really viable. But then at the same time, I don't think it's actually necessary, right? There's enough good cards in a 50-30 setup right now that 2 colors is pretty much all you need to get not only the aggressiveness, but also the utility to counteract whatever your opponent's playing.
Okay. I think I agree with that second point. I think once we get, because I know we're going to bump up again, right? We're going to go 60-40 at some point.
No, I think the new thing is it's actually going to be 60-30-10.
Oh, the 10 card sideboard. I have not paid it. I've been treating this like original Magic.
This is interesting. So the 60-30-10, I think, was a result of people saying, well, if you make the Atlas 40 sites, it's too big. You're never going to get enough consistency. Blah, 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 right? Like, how can you play all this colors, elements, etc.? So that's number one, to solve it by leaving it at 30 sites. Number two, this 10-card sideboard, they're calling it the collection. Now, the collection is a live sideboard. So imagine all the wishes from Magic.
Yeah.
The Burning Wish. So they will have cards that will reference your collection that basically says, hey, sack this artifact, get 1 ordinary card from your collection. And basically now you have it's like a toolkit at your disposal mid-game to be able to answer a threat or, get some more gas or whatever you need to do.
Okay, I'm interested in that. I think that'll be a good addition. I knew that there were cards that referenced a collection. I just hadn't seen them yet. I think there's something with the Dragon Lords. What was I going to say? Let me tell you one thing I think that they really fucked up on. Let me be very clear about this. The foils, the backs of the foils. Do you know how upset I am as a clear sleeve player that I opened my first foil that I could play in my deck? And the guy was like, "Oh, you probably want to be all foil then and you need to switch out your sleeves." And then he flipped it over, and I was like, "Oh, cool." Let me just say that personally, I'm a little bit upset. But I understand why. Why.
But you don't like the full art, or you just thought they should have implemented it differently?
I like the full art, but I think it should have the regular back so that I can play clear sleeves. That's it.
Yeah. I think you're a niche.
I'm like this. It's 1-on-1.
That is absolutely on clear sleeve. I didn't know that. So in old school, you play clear sleeve too?
No. Just because the backs of the cards are different. So the Atlas, because the 2 backs are different.
Yeah, I got you.
It just makes it easier for me because I'm smooth brain. So that's the easiest way to do it. I think this is my experience so far is that air and fire happen to be stronger. I think water is in there as well for talking about the top 2 combos, but I feel like the fourth one, I'll call it earth for lack of a better term, lags. Do you think that is a true statement or no?
I think it's generally true right now. I think it's partially because when Alpha Beta was out, Earth was very dominant.
Okay.
And I think they've tried to do other things to make more color identity or elemental identity, whatever you want to call it. So air's getting a lot more utility. Fire got a lot of charge minions in Arthurian Legends, so it's almost like that basically made everybody shift to aggro, because you're like, how are you going to race these charge minions that basically get value the moment they're played, and they are essentially immune to removal, because by the time you get the 3 damage in, it's already done its job, right?
Yes.
And if it stays on board, then it's just bonus, and then you snowball, right? Water was probably the weakest in Alpha Beta, but Water definitely got some stuff, recently, and I think that it's gonna get more, right? Water is supposed to be a little bit of that red-headed stepchild on the side, that doesn't synergize as much with the other things. But it's very splashable, and I think it's a great second color for a lot of these decks.
Okay. All right. What else? I think that's all I kind of want to talk. Do you want to talk future events, or do you want to leave that for afterwards?
No, we talk future events.
Okay.
I mean, did you want to talk something specific in Gen Con, or
No,
like
no,
how it all went, or you're just
I was curious, like
referencing the winners?
just referencing the winners because I watched the finals match because it popped up on my feed. The dragon cards? My understanding is basically unplayable. There's like maybe one that's playable. Is that the going census?
That's the consensus right now. The one that's playable, like it's basically like a mana doubler for a site,
Sure.
right? So
Right.
it's like an extra mana rock. And I think that is what can be put into a normal deck that's not based around dragons. I think the dragon set will need more support, and it's not more dragons, but it's other things that can help synergize around that, right?
Okay.
I did go to me and the Beast, and a bunch of Bay Area people. We did go support a cornerstone event last weekend,
I want to
and
talk about
somebody
that.
was playing Dragon Lord, which was great because I actually got to play against it, and that was my
Okay.
first time playing against somebody who had that deck. They were actually doing pretty well because I think it was either round 3 or round 4, so that means they were like 2-1 or 3-1 at that point, right? My deck ended up being really fast and able to take that down, but like it was kind of cool to see it play and copy the whatever his special dragon's ability, right? And he was trying to do a thing with that dragon that basically lightning bolts whenever you move on to that site, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So it's got potential there, but it's definitely not coming in to be dominant or anything like that.
It needs some support cards.
Yeah.
That feels about right. Were any of you guys go to Gen Con? I didn't know if you guys were busy or not.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody on our crew go to Gen Con. And I think we've been chatting a little bit about next year. It seems like Eric Scuriosa is trying to make Gen Con essentially like the start of their fiscal year, if you will, right?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
they're going to do one big announcement, that's going to be the start of their season of conventions and whatnot. So we've been talking about how we can possibly go and support. My wife's a big board gamer, so she's been talking about going back to Gen Con since we went, a few years ago. So this might work out for next year, taking a small crew over there and playing games and, helping the sorcery team and doing all of that.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. I was just curious. It's closer to me. I thought it was closer to me, so I might be able to. I kind of want to try Gen Con. I'm not a board game guy, but maybe give it a shot, see what happens.
Well, I think it is the de facto gaming convention, right?
Right.
And even
It's
if you're
like
not
historical.
even if you're not super heavy into board games, every publisher has a booth there.
Right.
And what's kind of nice is that these epic hour or 2 hour long board games, they all have like 25-minute demos. So you don't have to be that invested, but you actually get a good time to play and a fun time to like check it all out. And it's actually a really good con. It's very solid. Always something to do.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. That's a resounding positive for that. So you just came from a cornerstone, and then what's your next big sorcery event? Because there's cornerstones and then there's something above that, right?
Yeah, it's called Crossroads, right? And the Crossroads events are the ones that are effectively sanctioned and run by the EC team, right?
Okay.
So Gen Con counted as the first Crossroads event. And then I think they have PAX Australia, and that's the next Crossroads event. And I believe since they announced their partnership with Star City Games, so they'll be at the next 3 SCG cons this year. I think it's like Houston, Baltimore, maybe. Houston,
Sounds right.
Baltimore,
Houston's
and
probably the farthest west.
yeah. And so I think those will all be Crossroads events too, right?
Interesting. Okay. And then you winning a Crossroads. Is that like winning a GP? Is it that level of people
Yeah.
coming out to that? Okay. All right.
That's kind of the expectation. So like winning a cornerstone is like, winning your local game store event.
Sure.
Probably a little bit higher than like a Friday Night Magic, but not
It's like
quite.
a TPTQ.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Right.
yeah, it is like a qualifier. But you get a championship play mat and you get a box of Dragon Lore, which is obviously very hot right now, right? And then we do have people throw in, other side convention event, right? Like so it upcoming here in 2 weeks, we have our Quest for the Crown.
Right.
Which old schoolers will relate to because that's basically the Quest for Urza's Chalice but the sorcery version of it, right?
Yep.
We're dabbling a little bit. We found a nice little place on the beach somewhere over here in the Bay Area. It's not going to be quite as big as Chalice, but it was an invitational, trying to get the same vibe, trying to see if you can grow the same type of cultural aspects that you have with old school spilled into sorcery.
Love it. I'm sure breakfast will be better no matter where it's held at. Not that I'm complaining. I'm not.
We got a plan for breakfast. I think Jomar's on it, right? So
Okay,
he's definitely making
I'm not worried then.
Breakfast in the works, like spam and eggs and all the good meats. So
there it is. I'm not worried about it anymore. Not worried about it. What is there anything else that I'm missing about sorcery that you would like to talk about? That is basically my understanding. I read one article this morning.
Well, I think obviously the big thing everybody's looking forward to is Gothic. So
that's
Gothic
the next set, right?
Yeah, that's the next set. Rumors and hopes and prayers, if you will, are that it comes out this year. Okay,
I thought it was once a year cycles. That's what they were trying to shoot for.
It's definitely supposed to be, right? But EC is right now has a reputation for being late to their commitments. Sure. So with Gothic, they just haven't committed. So they haven't said even what quarter it will come out, right? So that's why people are hoping for that it's this year. Arthurian Legends was October-ish last year. So they're thinking, hey, if it's October, November is this year, it's going to follow the same pattern of one set a year. This is going to be a big set, right? This is going to be people are expecting between 300 and 400 cards, like an actual game-changing set. AL was good, but it was a little too themed and maybe a little too small. And even when people are opening packs, they felt like a little too repetitive. So it's like you open a couple boxes, all of a sudden you got, 8 copies of every ordinary, right?
You're good. Yep.
Bigger set should help with the experience of cracking packs, which has been something that has been a very positive aspect to opening sorcery.
Great. Okay. Good. I'm not going to buy any boxes of Arthurian Legends, and I'm going to save my monies for the Gothic opening. Got it.
Yeah, for sure. We can fill out whatever you need from that set.
I'm sure. Sean has already reached out, trying to unload his bulk onto me. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to take it too. It's the worst part. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. I think there's like some guys who play down here. I went to like an event that's like a little bit south of me, and there's a small little get together this upcoming week. So I'm hoping to also see what this scene is all about, at least in our area, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think your guys' area is one of the hot spots, right? I think there's like really like 4 or 5 different hot spots across the U.S. that sorcery really has kind of taken hold, right? We'll see if that continues over the next year, but the company and even the organizers got to capitalize on those places, right? That's how you're gonna get momentum.
Yep, I feel it. Yep. Okay, looking forward to it. I will come back to you after your weekend and see. I don't want to talk about decks because I don't like. There's probably at least 2 people that are going to go to that weekend who are like going to maybe hear this before. So I don't want to ask any secrets. Are you? I want to switch to Magic a little bit. Are you coming to LobsterCon?
I am not going to LobsterCon this year.
Okay, you're breaking my heart. Okay, never mind.
Well, I mean, okay, so
I get it.
No, I'll take a second to explain why. Right? Like, okay, so we probably also poorly timed Quest for the Crown because it's Quest and then LobsterCon is the next weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
So we knew that was a conflict, but we decided to pull the trigger because it was like we had to get it after summer and then whenever the venue was available, right? So Lobster this year, everybody's going for it, man. You got a shark on the line, right?
Yep.
But I feel there are definitely people who are like, I really want to go to LobsterCon this year because there's an opportunity to win that shark, right?
Yes.
And I'm basically the antithesis of that. Like I know I will never win any shark or major tournament, which I'm totally fine with, right? I play these games really for enjoyment, and I know that I'm like, an average player and occasionally above average player at best, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I feel like all the sweat hogginess is definitely coming out to Lobster because people are going to be trying their hardest. And, I love the event. DFB does a great job. Obviously, I'm eating, average 2 lobster rolls per day at the event. But this year I was like, I might skip this one,
Fair. I was going to ask you about what your deck choice was going to be. If have the deck that you played at X Files, which I downloaded right before we started this episode, how long have you been working on that bad boy? And then, is that your main play? Is that what we're playing most of the time?
Yeah, so that iteration, I've been calling it kind of the 6-drop deck.
Yes.
With the legends and it used to be the red, white, and blue, but then I started adding legends, so I went away from it, but then everything's aligning up to be 6-drop. I've had that for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
I think the first time I played that variant was for the Sin City Open in 2025. No,
2024.
2024. So I've had it for like a year and a half. And I've been iterating a little bit because in 2025, the big thing I added into that deck was Nebuchadnezzar, which is a hilarious card. It is a really hilarious card because people are so deathly afraid of it. They will do anything to get rid of Nebuchadnezzar, to the point where, like, I cast it maybe a dozen times. It always gets removed. I don't think I've ever been able to tap and name a card, let alone, tap and see their hand, and then the next turn actually name the card that is the big threat, right? It's really hilarious.
Dude, is that why you're playing two of them? That was I have like two questions. One, why two Nebuchadnezzar? And now I understand. And then the second question is the personal incarnation. That is fantastic. How are you even getting that out?
Okay. So.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Answer the first question. Two Nebuchadnezzars. I wanted to make sure that my deck still stayed on the spiciness train, right?
Yep.
And so I'm like, I have personal incarnation. I got all the big, Mahmodis and Shivans, and I think I have a Dakon Blackblade. Yes. I think I got a Rasputin in there, right? So I was like, but I really wanted to try this Nebuchadnezzar build, and so I'm like, well, to kind of cement it and make sure people knew that was at least the theme I was going for, I'll put two in there. Okay. Probably by the next iteration when I change this, which might end up being Sin City 26 is the next old school that I'm going to, I'll probably drop that to 1 and switch it out and see if I, need to put something else in, right?
Okay. All right.
Personal incarnation, it's actually funny. I'm actually able to cast it pretty easily. You obviously got Black Lotus if you need triple white, but then, I got like Tundras and a bunch of plateaus and stuff like that in there. Personal incarnation, I've killed people with it, which is awesome. And people enjoy dying to it because it's a unique experience, right? What is actually very interesting is I've only lost half my life, maybe like one time.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how much
the main removal for personal incarnation is going to be swords. And so if you get sworded, doesn't go to the graveyard, and thus you don't have to lose the life, right? And I actually think the time that I lost the life was because I did an anime dead, and then it got disenchanted, right? Otherwise, it's kind of actually hard to kill straight up,
Yeah. I see it. I get it. This deck picture is amazing because there's a lot of good like altars and stuff in here, but it also like kills me because you see the middle part, you're like, oh, I get it, but then like trying to see what everything else is, it's terrible. I hate it. It's both fantastic and terrible at the same time. Is there anything else? Okay, so I'll see you at Vegas in 26.
Yes.
95%. I'll probably just do. There's going to be Sorcerer on Friday, so that's my assumption anyhow. So, and I need to come out and see y'all. Is there anything else you want to talk about this deck with?
No,
we're like round tabling this really fast, which is
yeah. No, I'll probably make another iteration by then, right? Try to keep making it spicy, Maybe I'll lean into personal incarnation more. I don't know. People seem to really love it, so they love seeing it. I do enjoy playing
the artwork. It's the artwork that does it for me. Do you want to talk a little Merfolk?
Yeah, let's talk Merfolk.
Let's talk some Merfolk. Okay, let me stop sharing this screen real quick. That'll do it. Maybe. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So okay, Merfolk. What do you think is better than 4-strip or 1-strip? Oh, actually, you know what? Go ahead. You tell me, because
it's interesting because obviously love Merfolk, right? I actually have a vintage or legacy Merfolk deck. I play modern Merfolk a lot. I don't think Merfolk is viable in old school. I've tried many
None of
times.
them. None of the formats.
None of them. It just doesn't work. You don't have enough lords, right?
Not even
And
with 4 clone, 4 lords.
yeah, because it's too expensive. So what's great is that I've had the opportunity to get my more Merfolk itch from Urza's Ante, like, and
Yes.
because like you know you get lords galore there, right?
Right.
And shout out to Neil because he's going to listen to this, and he was trying to make a Merfolk deck just to mess with me, right, and to
Correct.
play against me. But what was hilarious was like I accused him, and I stand by this, that it wasn't really a Merfolk deck at the end of the day because I think his primary win condition, or at least the couple times we kind of dabbled with it, was still Mishra's Factory, right? You know, like I mean, because you know it's an aggro deck. It's trying to be an aggro deck by nature. In most formats, Merfolk is supposed to be very tempo-y, right? That's how you're supposed to swing it. But you just don't have enough fish. I mean, you got what you got? You got Pearl Trident.
Yes.
You got River Merfolk. You know, you got the other
Sea ones are the Fallen Empires ones are unplayable except for maybe Sea Singer, except maybe a single Sea Singer in the somewhere in the 75. I think they're unplayable, but I think that there's something there if you try and like make it a meta deck. So like Energy Flux, while not good, it's slow, but like helps you with artifacts, right? You could play Mana Vaults to get to your clones faster, and then maybe a Sage or two to sack those Mana Vaults out to, so you don't die to them. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this a lot. You also got shit. I have a bunch of Merfolk cards now too because I've been thinking about this and got stomped in a league playing just like straight like War Barge unplayable. Great card unplayable. Did you get Merfolk Assassin? Merfolk Assassin.
Merfolk Assassin is actually pretty okay. I just think there's so much removal in old school, and the guys are never going to be big enough because the other variant that I toyed around with for a little bit was like, you know, Merfolk plus, you know, unstable mutations, right? And then, you know, you can figure out ways to either, you know, bounce that back up or, you know, any number of things to try to get that damage in. But they're not fast enough, right? They're not big enough and they're not fast enough to actually make that push without adding a whole supplementary slew of cards that end up making it like you're playing just this other deck and it just happens to be Merfolk creatures that it's around versus like it's actually a Merfolk deck and then all the tools go around like the Merfolk's abilities, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I actually would love to do, and maybe I'll go down this degenerate road one day, is try to build Merfolk in Alpha 40.
Yeah,
that would actually be cool.
That feels doable. That because the rule set changes and that.
Yeah.
Now that's obviously an expensive endeavor, but like, like.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'll do that one day just to then I can have my fun with Merfolk. And I don't usually play League, so I'm just gonna get like 10 Lord of Atlantises, right?
100%.
You know, and then just boom, 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 bunch of sapphires, right? And then see if I can't replicate essentially what I've been able to do with Urza's Ante during those times where it's just Lord of Atlantis crazy.
Yeah. Just in alpha cards instead of like NPC prints. Yeah, absolutely. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, but if you build your Merfolk, I'd be happy to play against it and mess around with it and test it. That would be fun.
I have played it in I can't remember what league, but I played like a Merfolk deck because I was like, oh, like I feel like there might be something here. Like you need to splash maybe a second color. Not maybe, but like I feel like there's probably splash in there for either red or white. But then like I don't know. Is it really a Merfolk deck at that point? I'm not sure.
Well, I made the claim to Neil that like if you don't run Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, at least one of them,
right?
Then I don't think you could claim that it's a Merfolk deck.
I have a full playset. I think it's
okay. Well, then you're on the right track already, man.
Look. There, I think what Line did bolt plays more or less 4 Side Blast, 4 Chains, 4 Lightning Bolts. So you just need more than 12 creatures is really what we're saying. Like they can't have all. They're not going to have all 12. And that's what you got. You just got to run 20 plus creatures. 20 creatures, 20 spells, 20 lands. Done.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm cutting that podcast right here.
I'm looking for that bill, Ben.
I'm looking. I'll send it to you. It's terrible. What is there? I feel like I've hit everything I wanted to hit, but is there anything else that we want to talk about? I kind of want to like have a follow up after your guys' quest for the crown to like see how that plays out, because I'm interested. Like, do you think that the meta is different between here and you guys? And I'm not sure where the other pocket of players is. I would assume it's like somewhere in the Midwest, but
Phoenix has a big pocket, and then like that whole Virginia, Maryland, DC area.
Right. Okay.
I think the last pocket is that whatever they call it, northern Midwest, right? The whole Illinois, Michigan,
like Madison, Wisconsin, I think is part of that. Like
exactly.
It's all really like the same place, they just different states.
I don't know if the meta's any different there, but like I don't know. Quick, so if we're talking one last topic about sorcery, let's talk about 2HD, the good old two-headed dragon for a second. Then
I would love to talk about this because I played another variant and like we talked about it online, but not in person. Let me tell you, dude, you guys were right. You guys were right because that game took for fucking ever. And I was like,
it's confusing. You don't know what way is tapped, right? And it can be fun. It can be totally fun. And I think for the listeners, we're talking about the 4-player, right? Where it's like kind of a cross.
It's a cross. And you're just going towards the center.
But, like Steve mentioned, politics come into play a lot, right? Like eventually somebody has to die. And whether you go 3 versus 1 to kill that person or, 2 people make an alliance and kill one person, like it lends to more feel bad games that feel akin to like competitive EDH versus in two-headed, you have a partner. And I always joke with people like, worst comes to worst, you lose, you blame your partner. You know,
absolutely. You have your out.
That's the right way to go. You got your out all the time, right? I do think 2HD is catching some good traction. I think we are trying to work with more official tournament planners and other situations to try to get that going, because I think having a true kitchen table like format and outlet is going to be very important. And I think Eric's Curiosa team recognizes that as well, right? Like, if you look the history of Magic now, Commander basically has saved Magic over the last 15 years to the point where it's the most played format today. Is there a future where 2HD is something similar? Maybe, who knows, right? But like the 1v1 is super fun in Sorcery, absolutely, right? But 2HD incorporates all the great things in terms of replayability, variance, cards that aren't viable in 1v1 because the concentration is not competitive by nature, right? It's wonky because it is 2v2, right? So yes, I'm hoping that we get a lot more 2HD and we focus people on the 2HD because everybody's going to be concentrating on the 1v1 meta. It will be super fun to like get these casual games, and those are like the memories that you build,
Dude, I got to be honest. When I think of Sorcery, I only think of Two-Headed Giant, meaning like I don't think I've actually played a 1v1 game of Sorcery. I've only played two-headed because like I went to a meetup and I have a wealth of people with the Two-Headed Giant mats. 2 people had them. 2 people had the mats. So I was like, guys, I don't want to play 1v1. Let's just play. There's 4 of us. What are we going to do? Let's play some Two-Headed Giant. Like, why are we even asking this question?
It's a good, and I know you actually have played 1v1, right? Because you played at Sin City.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, I lost a bunch of 1v1.
Sure, but that's actually a good situation and use case for this because I know you were nervous to play those because you're like, I'm not really that good on the rules.
Correct.
And even if your opponent's kind of helping you through, you kind of feel bad because you're like, they're either helping themselves a little bit or maybe they're helping you beat them. Either way, it doesn't feel good, right?
Right.
As somebody like you who wants to crack into the game more, 2HD as like even as a learning mode or a mode to get more reps is absolutely one of the best because you don't actually have to rely only on yourself. You actually can have 3 experienced people, and then maybe you are just trying to come in and learn more, and it's a comfortable and friendly environment, right? So I think there should be more of that. Should be more learn to play and exposure to the game through 2HD versus even the precons, right? The precons can only get you so far.
Correct. Yeah. I like the 2HD most because like the team aspect it's like kind of what you're referring to. It's like if I don't know the correct play, but I know that there is probably a correct line amongst the two lines I have, I can like literally just ask the dude sitting next to me who hopefully is not new, and in my case they're not. So like I am doing well. That has been very helpful. And like the dude, like I actually like laid out my deck and was like, "Can you fix this?" And he's like, "Absolutely." And we like walked through. It was really nice. Anyhow, yes, I am tempted, even though we already have like, so Scott lives 10 minutes from me. He's got a mat. And I think Eric is the other guy's name as well. A lot of Erics in this format. He also has a mat. So I don't feel inclined to buy a mat yet because everybody has a mat except for me. But I am so tempted to buy one. I just have zero storage. Like that is the mat from Chalice this year.
Oh,
yes.
See.
Like it's fantastic. I bring that mat out. People love that shit. But like it doesn't fit anything. It doesn't fit anywhere. It's like just it's out in the middle of my like small office. Love it.
That one's nice because it's actually very foldable. It's actually really
it does
thin.
fold. It does fold.
Yeah. That was an unintended situation because we were just kind of like, we need to print the thing as quick as possible. And we was like, no stitch edge, no nothing. Let's just make it kind of bare bones. But it turned out to be nicer that way because it was thinner. And yeah, you can kind of fold that up and stuff it in a backpack, and it'll still no creases, right?
Yeah, no creases. That's how I took it to the meetup, was like folded up, because that's just like the only logical way to travel with this bad boy. So,
well, don't worry about getting a 2 HD, Matt. We're gonna come out with some more, and the more we come out with, they'll be like, we got the limited edition ones and whatnot. So we'll eventually get you hooked up with something extra nice.
Good.
Like showcase the goodness, right?
Yes. No, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for this next set. It's just been it's like refreshing, right? Like if you do, this is my opinion, I think other people hold this opinion as well, but like if you do old school long enough, you've kind of like you just got to go down the spice rabbit hole where you like there's many things that you can do. You can make new formats, but like the 936 cards are the 936 cards. But sorcery, I know I have not looked at like the catalog, so I actually don't know all the cards that are out there. I know that they're doing a slow release, so I don't have to worry about like every 2 weeks another set coming out. And like it's just been fun to like crack packs. Like it's very reminiscent of early Magic days where you're like cracking packs and just seeing cards for the first time. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good stuff.
That's the general consensus. That's why I think it's keeping us hooked for now, right? We'll
see. We'll see
next set. Yeah.
Yep. All right. That's all I got. Unless you want to just talk not Magic stuff. I don't know. It's up to you, bud. Okay,
I'm good, man.
Watch
whatever you want to do,
and you just part out it as well. You don't do. That's it. Watch. Hold on. We're not doing that. We just gotta stop the record.